Imagine that you're taking your least favorite class of the semester. This class, however, is the class that determines whether or not you go to a four-year university. You believe you're not going to pass this class. No way. Not at least without some help. So, you go to a tutor. You tell the tutor whose class you're in, and he immediately pulls out an old textbook that your professor used to use. You're a bit skeptical at first. But as you start reading through the pages, you realize that most of the topics and concepts are fairly similar. Even your friends studied from the same book, and they passed the class. The tutor convinces you. Yeah, test is in a week, so you get started and you work with this tutor. Fast forward a week after that first exam. You find out you failed it. 50% failure. Your professor writes on your exam, does not match the new information. The information's updated. Sorry. You go to your tutor to tell him what's happened, and he's no longer there, so he can't help you convince your professor to retake the test. You're a straight A student. You brush it off, and you believe that you're gonna buckle down and you're gonna pass this class no matter what. But that one test brought down your entire class score 2 letter grades. Your GPA is now lower than what is accepted at your four-year university. Now let me tell you a similar story. My family brought me to the U.S. when I was only 2 years old. Sometime between then and now, my family was recommended to go to an immigration attorney to get our visas renewed. My family's visas were filed incorrectly. We didn't get our visa renewals. Fast forward a couple years after that mistake. I'm 18 years old, and I'm a senior in high school, and I realize that I have a problem to fix. A problem that I didn't create, but I inherited. Most of the schools and scholarships that I applied for, spent hours, days, weeks preparing for, would not accept me unless I was a U.S. citizen or a U.S. resident. I've lived in the U.S. for 16 years, but I'm not considered a resident. I've been through the Duval County public schooling system, K through 12, but I'm not considered a resident. No, none of the transcripts count. Nothing. It's like I don't even exist. The visa I had, either way, if it was renewed or not, would not allow me to further my education here in the United States. And I thought to myself, well, there's got to be some way. There's got to be some way that I can continue and further my education somehow. And luckily, there was a program passed right before I graduated that allowed me to get a worker's permit and allowed me to stay, work, and go to college. You know, it was like a miracle. I couldn't believe it. But this hasn't exactly fixed the problem. Because now, when my visa expires, the work permit expires, or this program is removed, there's nothing stopping me from being deported. Even though I practically lived here my entire life. I used to think that deportation was reserved for only people who posed an imminent threat, or a threat at all, to the American public. Even people with criminal records. Doesn't matter how serious, just a criminal record would be deported. What kind of weird purgatory have I just stepped into? It was there this entire time. I just didn't know what to call it.